All right, let's talk about something you handle every single day at the front desk: vouchers and gift certificates. Now, it might seem simple, just processing a piece of paper, right? But it's so much more than that. This is about protecting revenue and making sure the guest experience is flawless. Honestly, getting this right is a huge part of what makes a front office truly professional. So let's dive in. So here's what we're going to cover. We're going to follow the journey of a voucher from start to finish. We'll start with the basics, then get into the different types you'll see, how to check if they're legit, the right way to log them in the system, how to handle the guest interaction, and finally, the really important part: how to spot fakes and protect the hotel. First up, what exactly are we dealing with here? You might be wondering, why are we so strict about this process? Well, it's because these aren't just coupons or discounts. Think of them as a promise, a financial promise. They represent real money and the trust a guest has placed in us. At its heart, a voucher is basically prepaid credit. Simple as that. Someone, whether it's the guest, a family member, or a company, has already paid for a service. The guest standing in front of you is just here to cash it in, and our job is to honor that prepayment perfectly, smoothly, and securely. Okay, if you remember one thing from this entire explainer, let it be this. This is the golden rule straight out of the SOP. You have to treat these monas like cash, literally. If you just imagine that piece of paper as a stack of bills, you're automatically going to handle it with the right amount of care. Get this mindset right, and you'll sidestep almost every potential issue. Okay, so we're treating them like cash, but just like money comes in different bills, vouchers come in different flavors. And you've got to know exactly what you're looking at because each type has its own specific set of rules and value. You're mainly going to run into these four. You've got your complimentary stays, for a VIP or maybe as a service recovery gesture. Then there are vouchers for specific things like a dinner for two or a spa treatment. After that, you've got the simple value-based certificates, which are pretty much just gift cards with a set dollar amount. And last, you'll see promotional or corporate vouchers. And for those, you really, really need to read the fine print. All right, picture this. A guest walks up, smiles, and hands you a voucher. What's the absolute first thing you do? Before you touch the computer, before you do anything else, you verify it. This step is your checkpoint. It's your first and most important line of defense against mistakes and, fraud. And this checklist? This is your secret weapon. Seriously, run through it every single time. First, dates. Is it still valid? Easy. Next, the terms. What's actually included? Are there blackout dates? Then, look at it closely. Does the signature and the hotel seal look authentic? Fourth, find that unique serial number. Every real voucher has one. And finally, a quick check in the system. Has this already been used? You have to do all five, every single time. No shortcuts. So, you've checked it out. It's totally legit. Now what? Now it's time for its journey into the digital world, the PMS. And we're not just talking about data entry here. We're talking about creating a perfect, crystal clear digital paper trail for the hotel's finances. It's all about the audit trail. So how do we build that trail? Step 1, scan it. Attach that digital copy right to the guest's folio. That's your proof. Step 2, post the correct credit or payment. Make sure you use the right code. Step 3, and this is crucial, add notes. And what's the most important piece of info in those notes? That unique serial number. That's what links everything together. And finally, just make sure you're following any other specific rules your finance team has set up. And here's a little peek at what's happening behind the scenes. When you post that credit, it gets funneled into a special account, usually called something like the Gift Certificate City Ledger. And the key reference that identifies it, you guessed it, that voucher serial number. This is exactly how our accounting team tracks every single voucher from the moment it's created to the moment it's redeemed. Okay, we've nailed the technical side of things, but let's not forget, there's a person standing right in front of you. The way you communicate with the guest is just as critical as your data entry. Getting this part right makes for a happy guest and avoids any awkward conversations down the line. The name of the game here is clarity. No surprises at checkout. So you just politely and clearly confirm, all right, so this voucher takes care of your room and tax for the night. Then, in that same friendly tone, and just so you're aware, any extras like the minibar or laundry would be settled separately. It's not about being restrictive, it's about being helpful and setting clear expectations from the start. Now let's talk about the non-negotiables. These are the hard and fast rules of redemption. Once a voucher is used, it's done. Marked as redeemed, final sale. They're not refundable, and they can't be traded with other guests. And here is the big one: no cash back. Ever. If a guest has a $100 voucher but their bill is only $90, they don't get $10 back. The remaining value is simply forfeited. All right, the credit is posted, the guest is happy. What do you do with that actual piece of paper? Well, it has one last stop. You need to file it carefully, exactly according to your hotel's policy, so it's ready and waiting for the night auditor's review. And that brings us to our final and maybe most critical section, fraud prevention. Look, every time you handle a voucher, you are actively protecting the hotel's assets. You're the gatekeeper. This is where your sharp eyes and good judgment really, really count. So this is the million-dollar question you should always have in the back of your mind. How do you tell the real deal from a fake one that's going to cause a massive headache later on? You've got to put on your detective hat. Look for the obvious stuff. Smudged ink, anything that looks like it's been erased or written over. Is an official signature or the hotel seal missing? That's a huge red flag. Check the date, of course, but also feel it. Does the paper feel a little cheap or just off? Is the printing quality kind of blurry? And here's the biggest tell of all, the guest's reaction. If you politely say, "Let me just get my manager to double check this," and they immediately get defensive or nervous, listen to your gut. Always trust that feeling. So let's just make this crystal clear. How much cash change should you give for a voucher? The answer is right here. 0. A big, fat 0. Not a penny, not ever. This is one of those financial rules that you can never, ever break. And remember, you're not on an island here. Your work is always double-checked. Every single night, the night auditor comes in and does the final reconciliation. They take that physical stack of vouchers you filed and meticulously match each one by its serial number to the digital entry in the PMS. It's the final safety net that makes sure every credit is perfectly accounted for. So when you boil it all down, it really comes back to these three powerful words: accuracy, accountability, and trust. Accuracy in your process, accountability for every transaction, and building trust with both the guest and the hotel management. Your diligence isn't just about following rules. It's the very foundation that protects everyone and keeps the system working. And that's a pretty big deal.